Hi amigos, hola amigos, ¿cómo están? How are you? We are back with the English videos. We are here with a special guest. His name is
Monte.
His name is Monte, okay? And he has a really cool YouTube channel. We're going to share it after this video. And we're going to talk and to speak with him about his experience living in Merida, Yucatan. There's a very different view from a local people living in Yucatan, from Mexican living in Yucatan, compared to people that comes from America, from other countries of the world, living in Yucatan. So he's going to share his experience. We're going to ask him questions, and you can leave your questions too down below in the comments. Let's start with Monte. How are you, Monte?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. This has been an honor to get you guys on camera or to be on your channel. I've watched your videos and it's an excellent channel. So thank you for having me. Thank you for shooting this video, and I look forward to the conversation.
Okay, so let's start from the top. Monte, how did you get there to Merida, and why? You know, where are you from?
So I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, which is the southern part of the United States. Moving to Mexico has always been a dream for my family for probably the last, I would say 15 years. My wife studied Spanish in Guadalajara in a study abroad program with a family. And we pretty much adopted that family, and that family adopted us. So my Mexican parents are from Guadalajara, and we, still stay in contact almost 15 years later. But our original plan was to move to Guadalajara, particularly like the Zapopan or the Tlaquepaque area of Guadalajara. But the security situation there is a little challenging now. So we came to Merida on a mission trip for our church. First time I visited Merida was 17 years ago, if you can believe that. Yes. So we came on a cruise ship, like many people out of Progreso.
Yeah, man.
And and we did the city tour of Plaza Grande and of just downtown Merida. And, that was my first impression of the city. That was the first time I'd been here. It was an excellent first impression. I didn't really remember the name of the city. I was calling it Merida. So for probably 10 years, I couldn't really recall where I went or the name of the city. But when we came back for the church mission trip, it was incredible to see, how modern the city was in the north part of the town, because we didn't really visit anywhere other than Centro. The following year, we came back. I guess that was 2018, we came back, or 2019, February of 2019, we came back for a second mission trip.
Yeah.
We were working with a church in Dizentun, so one of the pueblos. And that mission trip, we extended our trip to really explore moving to Merida.
So you had this perception or this misconception that Mexico was only a rural country, full of donkeys and people in their horses. You had that?
No, not at all. So, my original perception of Mexico was solely what the news media portrays it to be, right? Which, of course, in the United States is not very good.
Oh.
So it's yes.
I want to ask you, what do the American people think about us?
So, yes. So I will say that the news media in the United States, the noticias, are not very good. It's insecure. It's lots of cartel violence, and so that's the biggest fear for most Americans. They think that there's cartel violence everywhere. In reality, it's much safer in Mexico, particularly in Merida, than most places, if not all places in the United States. So there's a big misperception of, what security really is versus how it is.
That's kind of interesting, because many people actually think about that Mexico is this wild place where there's violence everywhere. And I would say not, especially in our city. We even had a video about it. We're going to put it in the cards right there. And let's start with the questions, okay? Here's the first question, okay? I go with the first. Okay, you are completely new in the new city called Merida. You never been here before. What kind of things were absolutely unusual or unexpected for you? Maybe maybe you weren't expecting this type of food, the way people treat people like you, foreign people. What was the most unusual thing you experienced when moving to Merida at first?
So I would say my first time actually living in Merida was June of 2019. I came here for a month and to study Spanish at La Calle Spanish School in Centro. One of the most unusual things is just the weather, how hot it is. I'm from the South in the United States, and it's hot and it's humid there as well. So that's not unusual for, the heat, but it was a little extra hot here. But the day I arrived, I was walking in Centro, and it rained that afternoon. Normal, June rain from 5 to 6 or 5 to 7. And after it rained, it cooled down to, no sé, 23 Celsius.
Okay.
See, so that evening, it cooled down to 23 degrees Celsius. And I saw a lady walking down the street in Centro with a full coat. So she was freezing, and I had on shorts and a t-shirt, and flip-flops. So that was different. That was probably, the fact that 70, 75 degrees here or 23 degrees Celsius can be really cold in Merida was strange to me. But, I was just really shocked with everybody was so friendly. From the first day I arrived in the Yucatan, I've only been treated with kindness and respect, and it's amazing, right? It's amazing to see people actually speak and smile, and we can't really see smiles these days with the cubrebocas, but it is.
They are smiling with their eyes.
Yeah, exactly. They're smizing. so it's really, really nice.
That's legendary, the people, Mexican people treat foreign people. Some people talk about it around the globe. We made them our friends. From the first day we met them. We just invited to our houses to drink some tequila or maybe some cerveza, and that was very unusual for you. Still knowing that we are like that, right?
I'll tell you, I've experienced this every time I've gone to real Mexico, and I preference real Mexico by saying that places like Cancun, Cabo, the resort towns, that is not authentic Mexico. That is a representation, kind of like Las Vegas or New York. It's a representation of the country, not necessarily what you would experience living in a place. And so every time I've gone to real Mexico, like whether it's Guadalajara, I was invited into a man's house to have lunch, and just on the street, he met us, he wanted to talk to us, and he invited us in. I was like, this is odd, right? It's almost alarming coming from the United States, where that's just not possible anymore. You would really be suspicious of a person that invited you into their home and you just met them 5 minutes ago in the United States. Very, very alarming, right? But here, it's been very common. I've had that happen on multiple occasions, where people will offer me a drink, offer me to come in, offer me food. It's been incredible.
Okay, very interesting point, right? So let's go with the second question.
Bueno, la siguiente pregunta es, cuando recién llegaste a Mérida, ¿qué fue lo más difícil de encontrar? ¿Renta, casa, comida?
Lo más difícil de hacer.
Lo más difícil de hacer, comunicarte con la gente local.
Sí. ¿En español?
¿Puedes hablar en inglés?
I'll try, and if it sucks, then you will do it again. Okay.
No problem.
El más difícil para mí es el comunicar de las personas. Mi español es no bueno, entonces necesita practicar más y aprender en la escuela. Cuando mi español mejoro, hago más cosas, so rentas, internet, otra cosa, sí, servicios, sí.
Yeah.
So in English now. So the hardest part for me was simply just trying to communicate, right? And I'm 46 years old, so I moved here when I was 44, and it's been difficult not being in my comfort zone. So, I grew up in the South. I'm from Atlanta. I knew how to do everything. And so moving here, every single thing is a challenge. From just getting internet to receiving the newspaper. it's like a...
I want to ask you something. Sure. Okay, so you don't find usually many people that can understand you in English. Or so how do you do it? I don't think many Mexican people speaks English fluently, but we usually try to understand it. Do usually people helps you with that language issues?
I think, yeah, the people here are extremely understanding with the fact that you may not be a native speaker or even a fluent speaker of Spanish. And so it's really funny. This is a funny scenario, right? So people will tell you that they don't speak English because they're afraid of how they sound. Whereas they speak more English than I do Spanish. So they'll let me babble in Spanish and nod and be not understanding anything I'm saying. And then they'll respond in English, which I'm like, why did you just speak English? You know? So it's funny that folks are really helpful trying to, let you communicate. But for me, it's important that I become fluent in Spanish because I want to be able to move around the world and do anything. And now I feel like I'm at the point where I can do just about anything. I mean, I've done things like cancel my internet this week and receive my newspaper when it didn't come. Those are small things, but for me, they're really big because I did them on my own, right? And so I didn't have to have someone to help me, translate. I found my house on my own and negotiated the contracts and all of those things. So all of that came with learning and being able to communicate in Spanish more. I read something that, a person who doesn't necessarily speak a second language but is trying to learn shows bravery, right? Okay. And they speak two languages and you only speak once. So
that's very curious because we usually make fun of each other when we try to speak English because it's really hard for us to pronounce the R. We usually have this R and this ere. Okay, how are you? So we usually make fun of us, make fun of each other while trying to speak in English. But has anyone ever make any joke or any comment about your Spanish? Any Mexican people?
So my nanny, my daughter's nanny, I should say, she's not my nanny. My daughter's nanny, my ninera, laughs at me often in the mistakes, but she's helped me tremendously improve my Spanish because she'll correct me, right? Which is exactly what I need. So we have a native Spanish speaker in the house. She's actually a language student learning to speak English and French and Spanish. So she's studying all three languages. And so she's helped me tremendously improve just the little things, the words that I don't know. So I'll tell you a funny story. I had a security situation where there was a guy inside of my inner wall at my previous house, and he was doing weird stuff, and we saw him on camera. Well, I called the police, and I said, yo tengo una suspicious hambre. Exactly. So I said, I have a suspicious hunger, and they're like, what?
So then she helped you, right?
Yes.
Was she there?
Well, no, she wasn't there, but eventually they sent the English speaking police. But in the moment, I was panicked trying to figure out what was going on. And I was trying to say there's a suspicious man, but I said I have a suspicious hunger. So
that actually makes no sense. If you are a Spanish speaker, of course it makes no sense. So thankfully, Monte is learning to improve his Spanish.
Exactly.
Okay, so we go with the third questions, okay? Third question for Monte. In which aspects living in Merida was the opposite of the expected? Okay, in which one was just as you thought it will be? Okay, the cost of living, finding other expats, dealing with local people.
So the opposite was the community that's been built here of expats. Historically, folks that retire to Mexico are older, Caucasian, white folks that are retired, right? They've, in their 60s or 70s or whatever. And for me, moving here, and it wasn't this way when I first got here 2 years ago, but now there's a larger community of Black expats. I don't know if you've noticed that, but
I didn't.
Yeah, there are probably 100 or more families in Merida. And that's a recent thing in the last 2 years. So more families are moving here. And just in general, moving to Merida, I did not expect it to be as family oriented as it is. So everything happens with the families here. You know, you see abuela, you see mom and father, mother and fathers, the kids all at the mall together. In the United States, that's not the case. Oh. You don't see multi-generational families going to the movies, going to the malls, hanging out. That's very rare. Only on holidays, actually.
You will say that it's a family-friendly environment. I love Merida. I used to live in a place called Cancun. I guess you know that. It's a really touristic city. Mm-hmm. So the environment, I don't know if it's the right way to say it, the environment was kind of more adult one, okay? Mm-hmm. The discotheques and the clubs and the night parties. But here in Merida, Yucatan is more like a family-friendly city, okay? So that's actually very true. What else you will say? What's the opposite or exactly the same you were expecting to be?
The cost of living, I think the preconception for most folks from the United States is that, you know, Mexico is inexpensive, but not everything. Electronics are expensive, jeans, clothes are expensive. You know, shoes are expensive. I can name. Gasoline is expensive. Gasoline is $4 a gallon here, which is that's in the United States. It's roughly, I can't break it down in liters, but it's like $2, $2.60. It depends on the state that you're in. But gasoline is expensive. Electricity is more expensive here. So, you know, there are many things that are more expensive. Housing is affordable. Food's affordable. Probably one of the things that was super unexpected for me is the fact that the food just tastes better. Oh my God. I can't explain it, but it's fresh. It's not processed. We had an experience in Guadalajara. We bought fresh bacon at the market. We put it in the refrigerator and a day later it was bad, right? Oh, and we didn't expect that because bacon lasts in your refrigerator in the States for months. So the food is fresh here, you know, fresh fruit, fresh vegetables, fresh meat. And in the States, the food is not as fresh. Also, things are just more flavorful because it's organic. And so what you guys, you know, take for granted in that it's just food, for us, it's like this is expensive food to eat in the United States. So that's a difference.
That's something I didn't know, okay? We are usually used for this really tasty and really fresh food, but I don't know, maybe I think that maybe people from America like this processed food because sometimes they look for it in the Facebook. You can see them commenting and searching, oh, where can I find this? Maybe at Walmart, maybe at Costco. Is it true that they like this, that you guys like this processed food? I think it's delicious. I don't know.
So there's the convenience factor of processed food, but you know, obviously, you know, my wife was just commenting about this earlier. We have these little packets called Lunchables. So it's for kids, you know, when they go to school, it's already packed. It's like crackers, cheese, meat, etc. It's totally bad for you, but it's convenient, right? It's like a McDonald's Happy Meal in a supermarket. But so the convenience factor, I think, is what people are looking for. Plus, it's just what you're used to. So if you grew up eating processed junk food, your body kind of wants processed junk food and lots of sugars. And so, you know, it's kind of what you're used to. I found so many things that are better here. Like you guys have 1,000 varieties of tang. Do you know tang? Tang?
Oh, tang.
Tang? Oh, how do you say it?
Yeah.
Is it tang? Tang? Yes. You have 1,000 varieties of tang. We have like 3. so
strawberry and
the basics. So you guys have mango and picaya. So it's so there's so many different flavors, but everything just here, even the sodas, the things that aren't good for you are better. Like the sugars, the there's more natural sugar in your sodas, which is bad for you, but it tastes better. So.
Bueno, me parece muy interesante porque a mí me gusta, bueno, yo nunca he tenido la experiencia de tener comida por meses en el refrigerador. A mí me gusta comer muy fresco, de hecho me gusta mucho cocinar y me gusta mucho hacer panadería, repostería. Entonces para mí el tiempo de la comida es como que estoy muy pendiente porque sé que se va a echar a perder, porque está fresco. Pero no me imagino tener como todo congelado, o sea, es sorprendente. Y bueno, respecto a la amabilidad de la gente, yo creo que eso sí es muy conocido en todos lados. Bueno, mi cuñada vive en Francia y nos ha platicado también sobre eso, ¿no? Que allá son mucho más fríos, que vienen acá y como que el ambiente está más relajado, eres mi amigo luego, entonces allá no. Y no sé cómo sería esa experiencia en otro país, como que pienso que yo llegaría a intentar hablarle a todo el mundo y como que me sentiría un poco mal si no me hablan. Sí. Pero bueno, está padre.
So there you have it, the experience of an American man living in Merida with his family, of course. And if you want to know more of his content, his channel is called Exit Plans. You can find it on YouTube. I'm going to put the link down below so you can visit his channel, and we're going to make this collaboration together for the next video on his channel. So just don't forget to subscribe to his channel, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. My name is Luis.
Miriam.
Y nos vemos. Hasta luego. See you later, amigos. Bye.